jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know the first in the building. Charles Pickett is on deck. Salute WCS. These clowns don't want to fight Bud. Bud is the real deal. I think they are very understanding that is truth to that, what you said. But they just want to be in denial. That's where we at with it. And I'm not trying to be no psychiatrist to all these cats. All I'm trying to do is tell them what I believe they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, and that is being clout chasers and haters. That's what I see. Dodge J on deck. Salute, we in here early. Yeah, man, what better time to start off the week on this Monday? Shout out to the ones that's in the workforce. They went in to work this morning with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Out there making a living. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all, man. Go get that bread. Go get that cheese. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it. Go make that money. Be the best at what you do. Shout out to Cooking with Sir Senior on deck, man. Salute to you, brother. Appreciate everyone that's in the building, of course. So we all know that Jerron Ennis has since, went on a field trip over to the zone. Yeah, the permission slip was signed from PBC. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people was quite disturbed because they was looking to put their hand in his back, just like they attempted to do Errol Spence, and lock him down to the PBC so they can hoot and holler all the time and talking about, oh, boots, face Terrence Crawford. That's it. They thought they was gonna build up this rivalry like Crawford Spence. No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So what I've been reading lately, since Ennis is on a field trip over to the zone, is that now it's all about money. It's been about money, but now it's really about money. Why? Because they found out loyalty isn't worth 2.5 pesos, especially when both parties aren't on the same sheet of music when it comes to the level of respect. Loyalty deals, when you got a two-way loyalty, situation going on, the communication has to be respected both ways, period. And Team Ennis found out that wasn't being reciprocated from the distant end. So they had to move on to the zone. Now that he is with the zone, The first thing we heard from Eddie Hearns is that, you know, all this massive or this lucrative or being able to possibly make this fight with Crawford, and pay him. Well, from my understanding, Bernie has an interview out there with Mill City Boxing that's been out there for a little bit, and he spoke on it. You know what I'm saying? He spoke on it, and I wanna take y'all to that article. I want to do some, required reading this morning, because reading isn't fundamental, y'all. Let's go to Boxing News 24. Crawford versus Boots. Eddie Hearns mega $1 million problem. And look at that word right there, problem. See, the price for Crawford yesterday isn't the price for him today. And they had to understand this was going to be a talking point at some point. It didn't matter if they continued to ignore it. It was going to be a priority sooner or later. Sooner or later, you was going to have to address what's evident. This man, what he did last year has definitely raised his appraising value, period. They say Team Crawford, Coach Bernie Davis, said Terrence Crawford will fight Jerron Boots Ennis at 47 or 54. If promoter Eddie Hearns can raise the money to make it happen. Great intro. If Eddie Hearns can raise the money to make it happen. It said Bernie doesn't say how 40-0, 31 knockouts Crawford will want to fight against Boots Ennis. But he rumored to want 8 figures, 10 to 15 million for all of his fights now. Now, 10 to 15 million is reasonable. You know what I'm saying? It's reasonable. Anything lower than that is disrespectful, but it's reasonable to say the top end 15 to 20 million, depending on who you're fighting. I think for him to pass up a deal over there in the sandbox to fight for 154 unified titles at 154 and to fight Boots first, they need to pay that man $20+ million to make that happen. If that fight's going to be at 147. If this fight is going to be at 54, then I don't see Crawford taking this fight other than fighting for a title or two up at 54. I think he'll definitely take the 54 route and fight one of those names, a Zoo, or Fundora. But he definitely ain't gonna fight Ennis at 54 just for shits and giggles, And look, granted, this will probably be after he get a title. Like I said, I don't think when he gets a title at 54, he's gonna reach back down and fight Boots. Truth be told, I don't believe Boots don't want this fight like that. I believe they want to see if it can be made, or they might have made up their mind that it can't be made, but they just want to keep on talking as if it can be made. Because they want Boots to unify 147 pounds. Just think about this. If he goes up here and fight Crawford too early, everything that he's trying to accomplish at 47 is not going to work. They're not going to give him the Canelo pass. Jerron Ennis, they're not going to give you that exemption. What I'm talking about is when Canelo went up there and fought Floyd Mayweather, and then he was able to elevate his career from then on after taking that first loss. They're not going to give you that pass, brother. I'm just letting you know, they're not going to do it. You lose, it's going to affect you for at least 5 years in your career. You don't have that 5 years to make happen. I'm saying if you go fight Crawford, lose at 54, and you're still trying to unify 47. Now, granted, for Crawford to drop that weight and come down to 47, that's what Bernie the Boxer was talking about. They're going to have to pay the man. We all know what that means. You're going to have to pay the man if you want him to come down in 47 and get those titles. And defend his titles. You're going to have to pay him, especially the way it was stripped. It goes on to say the Saudis could afford to come up with the sky-high asking price from Crawford. But would they be interested in staging this fight in their country? They seem to like the fighters from the higher weight classes. and Crawford and Boots might be too small. Hearns' hesitation, Crawford's unproven power. Now, this where it always dives into, you know what I'm saying, just ex parte narratives going out there. The unwillingness for someone to give credit where credit has been due. It's been long overdue for Crawford to get his credit. But people, you know, continue to act like, well, he still has a lot to prove. He doesn't have anything to prove because, truth be told, that what was supposed to, be the challenging fight for him, and he just made Spence look like he wasn't never a challenge at all, except on the pound for pound list and on paper. That's all. Hearns can't say he can make the Crawford fight, and then turn around and tell me he's unproven. The only reason that you're calling Crawford's name is the fact that he's gonna sell the tickets. And then what's contradicting and overpowering, this is overpowering reality, is that Jaron Ennis hasn't sold anything. You know what I'm saying? We just seen Ryan Garcia go in there with Tank Davis, and they did solid numbers, right? Ryan Garcia didn't have no numbers before that. He didn't have no numbers. He didn't have no pay-per-view numbers. He didn't have none of that. You need to be pretty much focused on Jaron Ennis and him having the opportunity to step in there with Crawford. But when you talk about who's gonna, get that purse together to pay Crawford, that's what you need to see. Okay, how much you gonna be able to entice him with to the point where he can check the box? I don't think at no point in time Crawford is just gonna settle for this fight. It don't matter if it's three-time undisputed or not. I don't think he's just gonna settle for some low pay. He's gonna agree to everything like he did in 22, and they still want the fight to be in the next year over. I don't think he's gonna agree to this shit. Moving on, Hearns Matchroom Boxing Promotion likely wouldn't be willing to put up that kind of money on a largely unproven Crawford who has been involved in one pay-per-view fight that did big numbers. Well, the good thing about it is that we don't have to really believe what these writers put into action and what they put out to the public. We really don't have to believe that because a lot of them, they have their type that they want to talk good about, and the other ones that they want to criticize. It says Spence fans feel Spence was the reason for success of the event, not Crawford. Hearns might not want to pay Crawford a tremendous amount of money unless he proves himself as a pay-per-view draw against another fighter without Spence being the one to attract the buys. It's not even funny anymore how these haters will continue to say what Crawford haven't accomplished, but they won't boost to fight Crawford. How does that work? Seriously, how does that work? Why would Hearns have a problem getting the money for Crawford if he haven't did anything? If Boots haven't had any pay-per-view numbers for us to go off record, I'm talking about let's go to the documentation, Beats conversation, right? Let's go to the documentation, find out what the numbers is for Boots. So how does that work exactly? If you're trying to say it would be difficult for Eddie Hearns to come up with the money for Crawford, why would Crawford be expensive at this point? Why would the value of his purses be a topic of discussion? Because you can't sit up here and say most of the people showed up for Errol Spence. And then you can't look at it as if it was a fluke type of fight where Spence lost. It was a controversial decision, just like if Tony Weeks stopped Ismael Barroso against Rolly Romero. It wasn't one of those fights. Harvey Dock stopped the fight because Spence was getting beat up. So therefore, the man has stopped everybody in the 147-pound division. So why all the fine details are pointing to Crawford? He's not a seller, but it might be tough for Eddie Hearns to come up with the money. It don't make any sense. Y'all want to criticize somebody, but yet in the process, you highlighting them too. Because if they wasn't worth the numbers that you're talking about, we wouldn't be having this discussion in an article talking about, it might be difficult for Eddie Hearns to come up with the money for Boots to fight Crawford. Why? you keep saying Crawford is not a sell. His biggest pay-per-view was against Spence, right? And that was Spence's biggest pay-per-view, right? So if you say Spence, brought all the fans and consumers to the seats, like they were saying before, butts in the seats, butts in the seats. The butts in the seats, butts in the seats, butts in the seats. That's all we heard before July 29th. Spence bring all the butts to the seats. Crawford don't put no butts in the seats. Well, I told you he put one butt on the canvas that night. I tell you that. And he got in the arena free. He got in the arena free. All expenses paid. You know what I'm saying? So forget about all the consumers that was there. They paid to come check out the fighter that they wanted to. But the only butt that was placed on the canvas was the one that needed to be there. And they can continue to write all these articles all they want, but it don't make any sense how you criticizing Crawford for what he did. You know what I'm saying? And you say that Errol Spence brought all the consumers, but Crawford beat him, and you act like it's appraising value. He's like one of the only fighters where he continued to excel, and they want to treat him like he's entry level. You know what I'm saying? Who do that? You're still trying to treat this man like he's entry level. That's why he pissed. Let's go on. Terrence is a good fighter, but he's never done a great job marketing his fights. I'm not going to go through this. It's the same mumbo jumbo all the time. Let's talk about Crawford's past pay-per-view fights. They say Errol Spence, 700,000, Showtime. Shout out to Showtime, man. Showtime said, it's time for me to leave this perch and I'm gone. Crawford versus Sean Porter, 135,000. Crawford versus Amir Khan, 150,000. Crawford versus Victor Poso, 50,000. Now check this out. It would be good if these had documentations to beat conversation. But what the community is going to do, they're going to screenshot this and they're going to start talking, talking about, how Crawford haven't been consistent. Yeah, he did that with Amir Khan, but Amir Khan been knocked out several times before Crawford got on. And then they're going to try to downplay WBC champion Victor Poso at the time because he was a nobody. They're going to try to treat Victor Poso like he a nobody. And then Sean Porter, they're going to say his daddy. And, I wouldn't be on the necks of the aerosexual so much, but Arrow tried that shit in front of a legend. Arrow tried that. Well, his daddy said, and Mike said, man, stop it. So you're embarrassing yourself, man. It's poor sportsmanship. He did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. He came here, he lost. I said what I said. I think Crawford beats you. You know what I'm saying? He went in there and he lost. And let it go. They got $4+ million. Let it go. He tried to go over there and check. Mike Tyson showed me that Spence does have, some cojones. And not on top of that, a little bit of that is diluted by a leakage in common sense. Because he thought he was going to check Mike because him, along with other legends, have said they believe Crawford beats him. So he just couldn't wait to get in there with Tyson and say, I want to talk to you. You said that this, and I want to let you know that Crawford, when he fought Sean Porter, his daddy say, man, get out of here, bro. So now we have this to go line for line. These are Crawford past pay-per-view fights. Now, the positive aspect about this examination, y'all, is simply this. All right? And shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. We totally understand that these are numbers. And we totally understand if we're going to look at these numbers, we definitely have to look at the numbers that says 40-0. All right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're boxing aficionados. If we're going to look at these numbers, we also have to look at the numbers that says 40-0. Those numbers tell me that this man is still undefeated. Though he has been characterized out to the media, he has been aligned. People pretend to place Crawford in the bullseye area, not because he's been knocking out his opponents, because they believe this man is an easy target. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what they think. They believe every time he accomplishes something, he's an easy target for criticism. And that's not the criticism that's constructive in providing him information on how to improve, because the man is unblemished in his professional career. No, this is the criticism of what you call a hater, a clout chaser. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is jealous and envious. They don't want to see this man do anything that they can praise him about. But when he continues to do it, they continue to come up with things. What's next? What's next? What's next? Boots. What's next? What's next? They just throwing these fighters. You know, they just trying to do target practice and throwing these fighters in the conversation as if it's that easy. It's not that easy, bro. The man is still unblemished in his professional career. Let's talk about what Coach Bernie said. He said, Coach Bernie shots at Ennis, okay? Let's go. We catch a title 154, and then he comes to 154 because they're going to pay, said Bernie. The boxing, Bernie the Boxer Davis to Mill City Boxing YouTube channel when asked if Terrence Crawford would be willing to fight Jerron Boots Ennis if the Saudis come up with the money for a fight between them at 154. I think if they come up with the money for him to fight Boots, he's going to fight, especially at 154. The guy's huge. He's a big guy. If they want it at 147, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to make it worth the kids Crawford's while. We definitely ain't scared. So notice what Bernie said. We definitely ain't scared. And also, I like what he said. If they want it at 47, they're going to have to pay. Because people sit up here and talk about how old Crawford is, but they totally omit the fact that the older you get, the harder it is to drop weight over and over again to these smaller weight classes. And then we all know that through the welfare, you know what I'm saying, through the welfare of it all, you have to still go in there and perform at your optimal level. And then, you know, if he's having problems, like he said, he's struggling to make 147, then that's when Bernie said they're going to have to pay us to get in the camp and go back to 147 and Boots have an opportunity to fight for undisputed and to fight the best pound for pound fighter when he's not qualified. It takes more than qualifications just to be a individual that understands how to contend. You know what I'm saying? Know how to split the ropes and go in there and fight. He knows how to box. I'm not talking about his physical qualifications coming up short to a point. I'm saying on paper, his qualifications, as if it's a resume, come up short. Anybody who's using this as a resume, anybody who's using this as any type of reference for his body of work and his portfolio would say the same. But when it comes to Crawford, they place him in the middle of the bullseye because they feel he's an easy target to criticize. He's at a point right now where people are trying to come, you know, these stalkers, they're trying to develop all these narratives to see him lose. And little do they know, they're trying their hardest to get people to think that their words have power. You know what I'm saying? Power enough to influence the outcome. They talked and talked and talked and talked prior to July 29th. I swear, you know, those in the chat know. They talk so much BS, man. It was so much BS over and over and over again. It only fueled what we seen play out for 9. I would say 8. You know, round 1, we'll let that out. We'll let that slide. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a complimentary, you know what I'm saying? That'll be a complimentary gift on us. But from the last 8 rounds, from the 2nd to the 9th, the final 8, that right there said it all. So let's get back to what Bernie said. Bernie said they're willing to fight. So we're not talking about no ducking Because they keep trying to say that Crawford's ducking someone who never won a championship in the ring. He didn't win his IBF title in the ring. Why would Crawford want to duck a fighter who they say has basically emulated his style off of Crawford? But where the separation comes into play, when I said physical earlier, physically, it comes down to a point where the boxing IQ, you know what I'm saying, the advancement of the boxing IQ, the experience. Listen to me when I tell you this shit. The boxing IQ is so many levels apart that people are just looking at Boots being 26 and Crawford being 36, right? They're not looking at boxing being a mental game too. All they doing is looking at the physical aspect. Oh man, he's bigger, he's faster, he's this, that, and the other. You have to understand they're fighting for 12 rounds, people. 12 rounds is very long with 3 minutes per round. When you're in there with the guy who has an extensive depth of experience on the championship level, right? And also, he is a different fighter, period. His boxing IQ and intelligence says and proves that. Ennis has never been in a situation or a platform to date that prepares him to step in there with Crawford. Yeah, they can talk about all this freaking mucho dinero, but really, when it comes down to actually wanting to get the fight, it's different, y'all. I'm going to be honest. Once again, I'm just being honest. This is no hate on Team Ennis. I don't think they have the people in their camp that can outcoach Bomac. They don't have a fighter in Jaron Ennis that can collect data based off his pure skill set that he have. He doesn't have, when he needs to go through certain areas of controversy, adversity. I don't think he has he's not there yet mentally to equal the boxing IQ of Crawford to get him out of that trouble. When Crawford started landing some shots in which, when they was looking at film, they didn't think Crawford would be able to land until the boxer actually was standing across the ring from him and he started to see. Crawford don't fight the same way. I mean, he don't fight each fight the same way. I don't see Boots' IQ being nowhere close. And people just think he's going to go in there and dog Crawford out. You know what I'm saying? He's just the younger, youthful fighter. He's just going to go in there and run over Crawford. Crawford's one thing he's praised for is his boxing IQ. Remember that. Let's keep it popping. We can win a championship at 154. And if Eddie Hearns wants to make a fight with Boots, then they make it happen. Everybody wants to fight with Boots and Crawford. But I'm not sold that this kid Boots wants to fight. See, that's where I'm at with it. The reason why I say I'm not sold and I concur with Bernie the Boxer is based off what I said when he was asked by his embedded, media guy, YSM Sports Media, salute to him. He is the primary, numero uno, media segue over there out of that gym. And he asked him the best question that you can ever ask a fighter. What would be your ideal fight now that you have a title? He didn't say Crawford's name. When he referred to Crawford, he said the other guy. So if he wasn't signed with PBC and there was a loyalty pack with him and Steven Espinosa, did he not have permission to say his name? Because right now, when he's with the Zone, I still don't hear him barking his name. He keeps talking about, oh, he don't have nowhere. He don't have nobody else to fight right now. Who he gonna fight? No, we want to hear you say, fight me. I want to fight you. Fight me. I want to fight you. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear no securitist type narratives that you projecting out to us. Oh, well, let me set this up real tight. All right. So if you got a fence over here that's separating that property line and you have, no, we ain't talking about that. Either you want to fight with him or not. Eddie Hearns know what he's doing. We don't want to hear all that. Who you going to fight? You want to fight Crawford. It's not the other way around, buddy. So you need to get with Eddie Hearns and try to raise that money. You know what I'm saying? Because Bernie Boxer made a solid point, and that's what y'all need to do. You need to pay the man, just like at an auction. Just like at an auction, you need to pay the man before you leave the building. In this case, you need to pay the man before you enter the building. It goes on to say, I don't see no effort on this kid's part to try and make the fight. If he earn and come up with the money, then he can probably get a Crawford. He can probably get the fight. You know what I'm saying? He said, I don't see no effort on this kid's part to try and make the fight. If he Hearns can come up with the money, then he can probably get the Crawford fight. He goes on to say, he's the number one contender. He beat a champion. But let's see how he does in these fights. Let's see how he progresses in the fight, said Bernie the Boxer, about Boots Simmons need to prove himself in his eyes. I don't think that was even worded correctly or quoted correctly. Because, yes, he is the number one contender, but he didn't beat no champion. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that was pretty much put up there for whatever reason. I know Bernie didn't say he beat no champion. I know anybody who knows anything about this situation, just a little bit, just based off what they heard out here on the YTC platform, would understand that that man did not enter and exit in a championship showcase and won that title the right way. That's just fact. And then another reason why that's impossible to even fathom, because the man who had the belt is still 40-0 on BoxRec. So however you retrieve that title, we already know it took a team, it took a package to be submitted, right? A request to be sent out, and there was a time limit on that. That time limit was met by Team Crawford, and they responded knowing that they was already contractually locked in. And being that Spence could have already released himself from that rematch clause that he did, he refused to do that until Crawford was stripped. And then they wait till the last minute, all the way. We about to get the rematch in 2024. We're going to get Crawford Spence too. And then they bail out. Man. You know what I'm saying? It's not too much more we can say about this based off, say off this other than what we see. I don't really think dude is trying hard enough to get this fight, man. Because your declaration is what? To become undisputed at 147. So you have two choices. Do you want to fight Crawford as a whole? If he gets a championship at 154, it will basically provide you the opportunity to fight him at 154 and add another division and another championship to your portfolio? Or do you just want to say, okay, he's going to continue to get older and Eddie Hearns is feeding your ears and say, hey, he's 37 in September. You want to try this in 26? You know what I'm saying? You want to try this in 26? He'll be 39. Huh? We got time. What is Eddie Hearns telling Boots? Is he giving him a calendar date? Are they talking about this like, you know what? I already have some fights lined up for you. We're going to continue to play this game, put it out to the media, just like they do all the time, acting like they want to fight. And then they come up with somebody else's name. You know what I'm saying? That's how it always is with the puppetizing of the media when it comes to boxing. The hocus pocus all the freaking time. So if they want that man, Jaron Ennis, to fight for all the titles of 147, you're going to have to pay, because they already know he's getting older. But with that age, you're going to have to come out the pocket because there's no way you can get those titles. You submitted one package. Who else is going to submit anything else? Yeah, you submitted a package and received your title. What else is up? You remove your enforcement to get Crawford in the ring. You rather submit paperwork rather than sign a contract, the correct paperwork for you to enter the ring and fight him in a championship showcase. You remove that. You wanted the title and you think Crawford is gonna have to pay to fight you. That's isn't that backwards? That's really backwards at the end of the day. That's not even reverse psychology. It's just a lot about that that doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever. So if he want to come down there and he's already cleaned out the division and you think he needs to come back down to 147 just because you submitted paperwork, it doesn't make any sense. That's why Bernie said they're going to have to pay him to come to 47. It'll probably cost them less money for Boots to move up and fight him at 154 than the Crawford to come down here and fight this guy who has a title that he won fair and square, that Crawford won fair and square in the ring by beating Spence. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay the price, man, to cross that bridge. You're gonna have to pay the toll, big dog. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing in the building. Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good with it? Shout out to IOTBA Boxing Talk in the building. Definitely go check him out and sub and support the channel. The GOAT is on deck, man. The man's been doing shit forever and a day, man. He been on this media grind forever and a day. You know what I'm saying? The new cats don't know about it. But I'm going to tell you, just like yesterday, we had that light-skinned guy over here. And these guys actually think they're doing numbers and they want to brag about it. But let's talk about multitasking, media, going to fights and all that. No, you're not doing that. You shouldn't be over here. You know what I'm saying? Bud gonna stop Canelo. Salute to you. All Boots has to do is ask Eddie to send Bud an offer. Well, it doesn't really work out that way. You know what I'm saying? That Bud gonna stop Canelo. I understand where you at with it. But you remember when Eddie Hearns, he came over here and supposedly him and Anthony Joshua was going to sign a contract in the public eye to face Wilder. And they pretended like Joshua was signing the contract, but he didn't. Eddie Hearns had signed it. And somebody asked Eddie, saying, hey, why did you sign that contract? And, Joshua supposed to sign it. He said, because he owned Joshua. He said he owned him. I'm not saying that's what we have here. But what I'm putting out there is that fighters can sign with Eddie Hearns over there. But Eddie Hearns is not a novice in this game. He understands. You sign with Eddie Hearns, Hearns is going to get you what he gets you. You know what I'm saying? Some of his fights stand out, some of them don't. But just look at it this way. What purpose will it be for them to sign Boots, who's an IBF champion, right? I have to say he's an IBF world champion because it is in his possession. To sign Boots, put out all this money. Look where I'm going with this shit, bro. They put out all this money like they did for Crawford Spence. And Crawford wins. They signed Boots at the moment. He has an IBF title. At the time, Crawford had one title, right? He had the WBO title. So we're going through the gauntlet once again with Crawford. This time he has 3 belts. He really has all the belts, but we're just going to, go off what we know in the media, right? They signed Boots to go face Crawford, come out the pocket with all that money, and Crawford beat this guy. So what good is Boots to climb himself back up the ladder, right? And then people are going to look at his record and say, hey, you got that many fights, you should be good to go. Yes, one loss is not going to hurt Boots. It's not. It's not going to hurt him. But one thing he can attest to, that he can brag about, where I'm going with it, is that he was a world champion at 147 pounds. And also, he will finally have a fight on his resume that people can respect. Just like they say, Terrence Crawford has one fighter and Errol Spence. Guess what? Boots Ennis will have one fighter on his resume named Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And look, both Spence and Ennis will share the same right side residence on their resume. You know what I'm saying? Boots will have one in the red, and that's how it works out with Errol Spence Jr. on 29th. He has one in the red. So both of them will be like little step twins. You know what I'm saying? But they will have had Crawford on their resume. And both of their resumes and paperwork will have that green to the left when it comes to looking at Crawford's resume, and they will have that tenant. They will have the tenant lease agreement. You know what I'm saying? Where they have that one that's residing in the red block. Let's call it red block. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spencer's 28-1 right now. That one on his resume is red block. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to call it O block, but it'd be way off topic than the resume. We got to call it red block. He has one loss, and Ennis will have one loss. But with 30 plus fights, one loss is not going to, stop you. Only thing I'm telling people is Ennis is not going to be at 47 that long. And neither is Crawford. So if they want to make this fight, they need to come out the pocket and get the numbers right and make it happen. We don't have time for people to be talking about aging him out. He's not going to be at 47 for that long. Let's get real. 35, 40, 47, now up to 54. You know what I'm saying? The dude is looking like he's a 54-pounder easy, even 160. So for him to put on this muscle and then drop all the way back down to 47, believe me when I tell you, y'all, I believe that's where they're trying to go with it. They're not going to immediately try to attack this in 2024. This is something that's going to start to pick up a little bit of steam at the end of the year, like it's going to happen and all this other stuff. They're going to try to put some more age on him, let him get up here and hold this 154-pound weight for an extended period of time, let him get acclimated, and then say, oh, we want to fight, and then go through negotiations where they don't offer this man the correct amount of purse that he should get, especially if he ends up winning the 154-pound titles. Because just think about it. The price today won't be the price tomorrow, especially if he steps in there at 154 pounds and win those titles. The price is going to be different. Now you're talking about a 4-division world champion, 3 divisions unified. It's different. It's different. The price that they may be talking about right now on these articles is not going to be the price if you allow that man to say, hey, Boots, just chill right now. We're going to get you a fight, whoever is with. We're going to get you a fight, Mario Barrios, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Keith the Ghost Thurman, wherever the fight's going to be. Crawford goes up here and have a fight in Saudi and become the unified super welterweight champion. You think when you come back over here and talk about what we're gonna do with the top, I guarantee you they're gonna start talking about what they're gonna do with 147 pounds instead of saying what they want to do. Really, is make this fight happen. They're gonna start talking about, oh, Crawford should drop the belts. If he ain't coming back down, he should drop the belts. No, let's talk about how much you're gonna pay him to return back down here and fight for a single belt. A single belt that they're not going to respect him when he goes out there and beat Ennis, because people are just thinking this is going to be a power train video. Or we're going to show you how this is going to work. Yeah, guess what? If you've been studying boxing long enough, it's going to take more than physical strength and athleticism. You're going to need to be able to outthink your opponent, because that's what the art of war is about. That's what combat is about. Ennis, I don't see him outthinking Bud. Hell no. It's going to take more than him going out there. And I guarantee you, y'all, he ain't going to be playing around with Bud. All that shit he was doing with Corinne and Ramon Villa. No. First of all, Bud don't come close to fighting like no Ramon Villa. We can't even put them names in the same conversation. Korean Chulikin, he was landing punches on freaking Ennis in the 12th round when he decided to punch. You think that he's ready for Crawford? Look, I'm all about the brother. I got much respect. Like, I gotta say this because people up here thinking I'm treating him a certain way. Now, I gave Devin Haney criticism too. When his resume the way it was, and he told people he was just trying to go the distance with Gamboa just to prove he could. For what? He already had losses. What are you talking about? But I can't do that anymore. The man freaking went over there and did what he did with the Undisputed, defending him over there, and defended again over here. So you got to let it go. I can't say that about Ennis. Ennis haven't had a fight of that magnitude. When they talk about back in the day how Crawford, everybody on his resume in it, Errol Spence can beat. So I'm saying they can't use that shit against, with Ennis, because there's no way he's coming close to facing anybody on Crawford's resume. Now, people want to be petty and talk about, well, WCS, to be honest with you, you already fought. Nah, don't do it, bro. I'm talking about 47. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't bring up no Thomas freaking Delorme. He fought Thomas Delorme coming off 2 losses and finished him in 1 round. Do not you better not come with this bull. Don't no. I'm talking about 47. I must put that disclosure out there, okay? I'm sending out all NDAs when I say freaking common opponents. We're not to talk about Thomas Delorme. Stop it. Shout out Arnold Brown in the building, man. But as far as Eddie, will Bud gonna stop Canelo? As far as what she said, Eddie to send Bud an offer, I would like to see that. I would like to see if Eddie's really being serious about this, because the press tour has pretty much fizzled a little bit. It was sparking for a little bit, spark, and then all you saw was it start to go down. There's a lot more smoke than spark, and now we have settled back into reality. Yeah, congratulations for you signing. Okay, now how long are the clout chasers going to continue to speak on his name without nothing happening? Now you have fighters who are clout chasing the name. Just clout chasing the name, man. Every time you turn around, somebody's clout chasing. Okay, let's add the Duck Masters Coalition. He better win this upcoming fight, or is he's done? Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, you know what I'm saying? Jerron Ennis, Mario Barrios. Just continue to call the names, but they don't want to attend the game. They say the name, they don't want to attend the game. They don't send. They want Crawford to do everything. Oh, I just want the shot. Really, I know I can't beat him. I just want the shot. He say he the best. I think I'm the best. No, you don't. You think you're the best in your weight class. So you got all these cats clout chasing, including these bum ass fans, right? They clout chasing, and Crawford should start taxing them for clout chasing, because that's the only reason. Look around. I'm not just saying this. Look around on YouTube. Look around on these damn articles. Every now and then Boxing Scene to put out an article, but not as much as Boxing News 24. And who are they talking about? We have a heavyweight undisputed bout that's coming up, and more people are talking about who's going to challenge Crawford, who's going to send him the freaking money. You know what I'm saying? Show him the money. For real. That's all they talking about. Who's going to do this? We got a heavyweight undisputed fight coming up, y'all. And they busy talking about, they stay talking about who's Crawford going to fight next. Look, it's April 15th, and we getting closer to the 20th. Where we should hear some type of information, the 20th, 25th, whatever. We're waiting on the information to come out. That's what people. And then also, it's more people talking about Ryan Lion Garcia and Devin Haney fighting than they are the heavyweight championship for undisputed. Who does that? That's crazy, man. That just goes to show you Wilder was, causing some buzz around this heavyweight scene, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. When he was on deck talking his shit, people was up here whining and crying to my, oh man, he always saying speaker, believe, receiver. Oh, we heard that. Grandma said he was anointed. Oh, we heard that. I mean, hey, man was talking his piece, and people was listening. But with this Crawford, he's the hottest topic on YouTube again. You know what I'm saying? Just ask the haters. They busy want to talk about what Crawford ain't did 4, 5, 6 years ago, y'all. They still talking about they still talking about stuff Crawford. I heard that guy that can barely speak English. He looked like me. I think he's American. But he was talking about how Crawford then stopped Mikey Garcia in the amateurs. That's how desperate these haters are, man. You know what I'm saying? They talking about how Crawford didn't stop Mikey Garcia in the amateurs. They trying to put amateur. This man is on his way out the door into retirement to go live in a mansion that some of these guys have made it out the freaking one room that they're renting in a duplex. You know what I'm saying? They can't even change the paint on the wall unless they paint it back the same way before the lease ends. They up here talking about what Crawford did in the amateurs. And look, of course, it's not even positive. Hey, bud, if you're listening, somehow you should start sending out NDAs. You should start sending out tax documents to these people that's clout chasing your name. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't stop talking about you. For real. The whole deal is about money. Real talk. There's a lot of people that's talking as if they want to fight, Crawford, but they're not stepping up to say they want to fight him. They say, I would like to behind closed doors, but in the open, I be quiet. You know what I'm saying? They will be quiet. What do y'all think about the fights that's coming up? We got some nice fights that's coming up, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, comparing to what we've been talking about all the time about, people pretending like they want to fight Crawford. We do have finally within range. We have Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney on deck. I'm looking forward to that fight. Not because Ryan has been showing that he has multi personalities. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was trying to put out to Light Skin yesterday, that maybe he should try to request a prescription for a bipolar drug called Caplita. You know what I'm saying? He was going in and out of his personalities and stuff like that, all because I was critiquing something he said. In 1 minute he said, hey, I don't blame him for going up to 154. You know what I'm saying? It's a minute later. And then the next you say, man, you need to take his ass over there to Al Heyman so he can sit on the shelf and do nothing just to satisfy me. That's what he should do. Just go over there and sign any contract. Sign an elbow, sign a 360, sign a freaking a Space Odyssey contract where you have to go in space, and if you can fight for 1 second with no freaking breathing gear on without choking, that's what I want to see. I mean, come on, bro. That's crazy. I want to mention this too. I think a lot of people sleeping on this fight, right? And that's Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. Now, I've been on record with Mr. L. Chin Checker, B More's own Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a hunter, bro. He's a different type of hunter. Seriously, people keep looking at his size and everything. God bless that man with power to be that small. He hunts different, bro. I done seen him up close. I done seen him in the ring. When I say up close, I'm talking about sparring. Man, dude is different. And then you have Frank Martin. Frank Martin physique has him looking the part. Once again, Frank Martin's physique has him looking the part. Now, I put him in the same category. I put Boots Ennis. He has a resume. He is a documented professional fighter. But when it comes to the competition that prepares him for Tank Davis, is nobody on his resume that's ever been in attendance. Now, right now, we look at it like, well, everybody has their step-up fight. Well, one thing we understand, those of you that's ever had a gym membership, there's no exercise in there that you can do with weight to build up your chin. It's none. People say, "Oh, you can do neck exercise." That's your neck, okay? That's your neck, and that exercise isn't across the board, and it hasn't been proven to work for everyone. I'm just saying, there's no exercise to build up your jaw. You know what I'm saying? When you have another fighter that's landing a punch right on target. Frank Davis looked the part. He looks in tremendous shape. But Tank Davis has came into the ring looking like Tank Davis and still got it done. He didn't knock down Hector Luis Garcia, so to speak, when he stopped him. He hit him so hard the man couldn't even see out of his eye. That man was damn near walking around like a new baby duck. They say, over here, huh? I mean, he was whispering in his trainer ear. I knew it was over. I can't see, man. And no Mila. No, I can't see. No, stop the fights. I can't see. You got to go back out there. You got to be a fireman. You got to go back out there. I know, I can see the ladder. I'm trying to tell you, you say fireman, I can't climb the ladder. I can't hold the hose. I know I don't see the building burning. I don't see nothing. All I see is spots. I see colors. You know what I'm saying? Tank hit that man so hard, he couldn't see. And then we all seen what happened. You know, Rolly came in there looking like a middleweight. Tank hit that man, and he gave you a treat that you didn't think you would see. You know, Rolly introduced us to a different art. You know what I'm saying? He became the rope magician. He started to play around in the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Dangling in the ropes. And I say, damn, that's kind of dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Why is he looking like that? Like, you know, he was dangling, dancing all in the ropes in the middle of the fight, and then turned around and sat down. He got up, you know, without doing the stanky leg, right? He got up, you know, without doing a full-blown stanky leg from a standing position. He was in a sitting position doing the stanky leg. He got up, and then the referee started to, you know, ask him those questions that you need to know when you're in that particular situation. And he couldn't oblige the referee, and the fight was stopped. I mean, Tank is a beast, man. Just ask Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank went to the body after Ryan said he was going to do this, that, and the other. But then I hear him in these podcasts, and Ryan said, "Oh, I'm getting up for the fight." You wasn't up for the Javante fight? Get out of here. Get out of here, bro. I guess you're gonna blame Joe Goosen, huh? You know what I'm saying? You wasn't up for the Tank fight. But for the Devin fight, you supposed to be up. Oh, you don't woke me up. Why? Because I broke away. They had me goddamn gagged and bound, and they forced me. They put toothpick in between my eyelids, and they forced me to watch. Oh, that's what gets you up? That's crazy right there. That don't make any sense. That's crazy. But we're gonna find out. Really, to be honest, this is not a non-biased prediction. This is not a non-biased prediction for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want, you know, Haney to go in there and give this guy a boxing lesson. I do. because everything that Ryan has put out to the media, he's went above and beyond to prove to people that he too needs a subscription. He needs his prescription filled a Caplyta. You know what I'm saying? He needs to get some bipolar medicine because all these personalities, one minute he's the freaking saint, he's the apostle. And the next minute he's dropping freaking F-bombs and calling fighters bitches. Same with T.O. One minute you want to talk about thank God, Holy Spirit. You ask yourself, what God are you talking about? Because people have to understand it's more than one God than that's depicted in the Bible and then inside those churches. It's plenty of gods. It's various gods. You know what I'm saying? From the high heavens to the lower hells. It's many of gods, man. And the only reason people choose to live in darkness and worship those gods on the dark side is because they feel like it's basically relatable with what they have to experience here on earth. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. People feel like they learn the most through the struggle. So being that we see and we experience a lot of struggle in life, people tend to resort to the dark side because it's relatable, it's comfortable. They feel like this is more of a teaching moment to help them get up, to learn more, to challenge themselves. Okay, I made it through stage 1 of the dark side. I want to go to stage 2. I like it. Ooh, it was scary at first, but I want to go to stage 2 and stage 3, baby. You know what I'm saying? They start treating it like it's a video game, for real. You know? Everything is about struggle. Everything you see on TV. You know, you hear boxers, what they do. Sometimes they want to say, okay, the only way I'm going to prove to you is talk about how much money you don't make, how much money I do make. Everything is about status quo and how you can how people perceive you out here in this life. So when I talk about Ryan Garcia, Ryan had been on record and said, try being a 25-year-old and make 100 million. He wanted us to feel some type of empathy for him because he's a nut job up here complaining about being 25 and 100 million. You can be 100 million, just all put it in your mother's account. Put it in your daddy's account. If you can't handle it, put it in somebody else's account. Hey, I tell you, if you really want to go to the dark side, put it in your girl's account. That's it. Put it in her account. Don't put it in your parents' account. Put it in her account. If you really want to go through some states of depression, put it in her account. Real talk. That's all you got to do, big dog. You know, you got all the answers. And then, you know, the fact that he called Crawford a bitch. I'm not up here to sit up here and act like a man that's fighting on the highest level in the world, pound for pound best, right? That I'm up here rah-rahing about like I'm his security. No. All I'm saying is if you all are in the same profession, Ryan, and you call a man a bitch, you know very well that he's never going to forget that now. You know what I'm saying? He's never going to forget that. Like T.O. thought it was cool to talk shit about Crawford as if it was just regular conversation. And then when he stepped out and Crawford, all he saw the white of them eyes over there in the corner looking at him. He turned around, his security wasn't even there. He looked for Pop. Pop had disappeared because he already knew what was up. That's an old man's wisdom. Yeah, my son to be all right. I'm gonna dip behind that trailer. I gotta do is take me a drink. Yeah. Yelling on your own. You don't want to say it. I told you not to say it. Go get him, son. I'll be over here. Crawford went over there and had even more of a docile demeanor than he had with Keyshawn Davis on stage. Hey, you know I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. When he saw Crawford over, hey, calm down, fella. Hey, I saw you over here. Seems like you got a lot of shit on your mind. Hey. Look, what you think Ryan Garcia gonna do? Hey, bud, I was expecting you. I knew it was only a matter of time be- before you. I just want to say I'm sorry there, Mr. Crawford. Sir, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Crawford, sir. And I just been going through a lot of mental stuff, and they tied me up and forced me. I didn't mean to call you a bitch. I didn't. I apologize. Hopefully you can see where I'm coming from, sir. Shit, Ryan gonna say it gonna be calling Bud, sir. And then Bud gonna say, Ryan, get off your knees, man. You been a little bit dramatic. I just when I heard you call me a bitch, I say, maybe there's something about me all the way up to this point of 36 years of age that he's seen that may have convinced him that I have just a little speck of bitch in me. And I just want to, I have to show up. See, Crawford pulls up to this shit. I have to show up and address Ryan. So that's what he's going to do. He pulled up and he was just over there in the cut. And Ryan's, Ryan knew. He could feel the energy, bro. Hey, Mr. Crawford. Hi. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. I know why you're here. I know why you're here, sir. I know. If you don't mind, I want to quote a scripture. Leviticus 62:14. It says, "For I am the bitch and not you. So therefore I ask your forgiveness." For I am the bitch and not you. So I ask for your forgiveness. You can find that in Leviticus. Ryan Garcia is going to be making up his own verses, dog. Leviticus 62, chapter 62, verse 14 says, for I am the bitch, not you. Oh my God. For I am the bitch, not you. So I ask for your forgiveness, dog. You know what I'm saying? Ryan is hey Ryan, you're gonna have your moment. You're gonna have your moment. Saying that you want to fight Crawford, it all sounds good. I wish that fight can happen too, because man, hey, the older you get, they say more wisdom comes your way. And man, they talking about numbers Crawford ain't did. I'm not sure that I can honestly say that nobody will pay for that fight. He goes in here and beats Devin Haney in the fantasy world, and then he wants to fight freaking Crawford at 47. It's gonna be people that freaking buys the fight. But that's not even why I even brought that up, man. It's just he has a huge fight in front of him in Devin Haney. I don't see him beating Haney at all. Maybe all that shit he was doing in front of the camera, he was just doing it just to get people to believe. And then I look at Diddy James, I say, nah, they doing real shit. You know what I'm saying? I seen him do that same type of mid work with Spence on the eve of him facing Ugas. So that was open workout. So I don't see, them putting out. I would like for it to be known that they was just playing around and wasn't showing us the full freaking, mid drill. But he did it with Spence. The mid drills was terrible when they had open workout leading up to the Yordenis Ugas fight. So I'm just curious, man. I just look at Devin as in totality, his skills just being much more polished and advanced than Ryan. I'm not saying Ryan don't have speed, but when it comes down to his mental blade, I think it has, the sharpness of a butter knife. Seriously. The only thing that stands out when it comes to Ryan Garcia is his hair, his looks. You know what I'm saying? He was blessed to be able to get away with that aspect of it. You know, the dumb shit he does, somehow people forgive him without him asking for forgiveness. But when it comes to Crawford, man, he's gonna have to turn that corner. Just like Fat Joe said when he ran into Roy Jones, he turned that corner, and Roy was in the shadows with all them other niggas. Fat Joe said, "Oh shit, Roy, what you doing up here, man?" I mean, hey, you gonna turn that corner, and Bud gonna be looking at you like he was looking at Jose Benavidez when he came out to that face off at the weigh-ins, and you know Benavidez pushed him. You know when Crawford walked out from the back to face off, that's the look he's gonna have with Ryan Garcia, bro. You ain't gonna see the white of his eyes. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna come over there talking about verse Leviticus 62, verse 14. For I'm the bitch, not that of you. I ask for your forgiveness and to save me from the brutalities of your hand. I ask for your forgiveness. I do. I ask for your forgiveness. We all are sinners. What did he say on stage? We're all sinners. I drink, I smoke. We all do. Okay, so that just tells me that, you know, the religion that he's talking about, no one knows what that is. We don't know what God he's serving. We don't know. Seriously, we don't know, bro. Foul play on deck. What's good? What's good? Toby Bartlett, Mr. International in the building. I see you. What's good, man? He said Booth from the UK made a video a few years ago about Bud's wife being overweight. Bud just made a reply video saying, doesn't he know we got passports? Oh, he took the video down and never, oh, wow, made another video. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I ain't know that. Damn. Man, you talk about Bud's family, that's a whole nother deal. I don't know why they be messing with that man like that. But all I gotta say is, it's easy for media to do that because they believe they're never gonna see him. But if you attend fights, you're gonna see him. You're going to see him. You're going to see him sooner or later, man. Look what happened to Timothy Bradley. Timothy was up there talking all crazy, and then he got in front of the screen in front of millions and apologized. Man, Bud is not playing. People continue to talk about how small he is, and man, all these fighters want to talk about how they'll go up here and beat him and all that. Bro, I'm telling you, all these fights they're talking about on the end of Bud's career, they think I don't want him. I want to see him. If Boots is up next and they pay the man, cool. If they ain't trying to pay him, don't talk about it. Because the ones who's supposed to be supporting the Boots, Ennis, they're talking about Bud. Like I always say, the ones that were supposed to be supporting Spence, they're talking about Bud. But man, that's crazy right there. They had the nerve to talk about that man's wife. Shoot. He said, doesn't he know we got passports? Oh man, that's hilarious, man. That's classic right there. That's classic, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's classic. That's a classic response from a guy who moved in silence like Bud. The guy moving silence, man. Seriously. But I'm looking forward to that fight with Devin Haney because Ryan Garcia hasn't did anything to win an interim title. Now, if those of you that's listened to me for quite some time, I don't really say, those terms like anything can happen. They have a puncher's chance. I'm either all the way on this side. I'm never trying to be in the middle. If I'm in the middle, I can't tell you who's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? But I just, at 40, I don't wish Bud had 45 fights so he can break Mayweather's. Who cares? He unifies a third division. He would have accomplished more than um, Floyd Mayweather in specific areas. You know what I'm saying? Floyd will always have bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? To the numbers he was able to produce. But with technology, no one's able to match those numbers just because they can get the fight different ways. And also the competition and the way these fighters are, it's just like b-ball. And though I don't use b-ball comparison to boxing, it's just they changed up their whole way of playing basketball. Boxing, in a sense, these boxers are changing up the way they go about making money. They want to make money absent of fighting the top competition. They want to try to do what Tank is doing. People complain about Tank fighting other champions in his division and stuff like that. Hey, listen, what extends longer? What stretches longer? Money or belts? Money. Everybody can't have the dynamic like Tank. Everybody can't have the dynamic like Ryan Garcia. To absolutely win no titles, to go in there with the undisputed lightweight world champion and also a WBC current reigning defending super lightweight champion and go in there with a 55-45 split? How does that work? I just please, somebody. How does that? Oh man, God. You know, that's when it comes down to, oh well, you gotta look at Ryan. So I don't want to hear nothing about no social media. I want to hear how good he boxes. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear how well he did in there in 12 rounds against a fighter who people consider one of the most complete boxers in the sport. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear all this other stuff. I don't want to hear any of that beautician, eyeliner, nail gloss, mousse spritz in the hair. You know what I'm saying? Smooth skin. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear strictly about the boxing. Can you imagine? Let's look at it this way. I'm going to give you a broad scenario right here. In hindsight, a hypothetical, right? What if Ryan would have got cut with Sebastian Fundora's elbow? What if Ryan would have received the cut Tim Tszyu did? I think he would have quit, man. I think he would have definitely told his corner, what round is it? You stop this motherfucking fight. I got modeling gigs coming up. I got to go straight to the surgeon and get this fixed. I got high end designers that rock with me. I'm not up here continue to support and have these pictures. I mean, continue to box and have these pictures up here. I got sponsorships out there. Dolce. I mean, the higher end. I can't have this cut like this. No. You saw how they did Spence and all those pictures. You see how they up here doing the Fundora. No. That man get cut by bamboo arms. Man, he's stopping the fight, man. Ryan Garcia will call timeout himself. He said, "Look what he did. Look. He be tapping his head. Look. You don't see the blood. I'm Ryan Garcia. This is my money maker." Man, it'll be over. It'll be over. Yeah, for sure. Everything's different now. These fighters are trying to find routes they can take that doesn't require them to face the best in the game. And that's where the sport starts to struggle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because they always talk about, oh, so-and-so in talks, so-and-so in talks. Man, I don't believe that. That in talk shit don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? So-and-so in talks, so-and-so in talks. And then they come out fighting somebody else. It makes no sense, bro. None at all. I've been on an hour and a half, y'all. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Once again, shout out to Christopher White for the donation to the Cash App. Any one of y'all choose to do the same, you already know what it is with me. That's my Cash App right there. Till next time, y'all hold it down. Peace. I'm out.